This is the second hour of Courage on Thursday, the 28th of July. July is almost over. Stephanie and I are here to mastermind around courage, or it takes courage to do anything. So we can mastermind about any choices that we've made, decisions that are coming up, times that we can acknowledge ourselves for being courageous. So I'll open the floor and see if Stephanie has anything she'd like to delve into. If not.
Well, the conversation before I left earlier, Tammy and I were talking about basically expectations and unwritten contracts, if you will, and just how if you don't have conversations with people and lay out your expectations, you're going to have those unmet needs.
Yeah. And I kind of picked up on that when I came in. So I opened the discussion around silent contracts and how much courage it takes to ask for what you need. And I kind of got the gist that this has to do with Tammy taking care of is it a parent? Yeah. So, and her girls resenting it. I mean, that's kind of what I picked up on her. She was feeling that she was not giving her kids enough attention.
And so she's just trying to just come back to center and figure out how to live and stay sane. Yeah. And was asking for advice and what we do. And I was sharing that, well, first, it was shared that, routines are a good thing. And, finding what is your best routine that helps you to thrive. And then, we all love our routines and what helps us in life. And then I shared that, on top of routine, having those people that support us, not only that we can go to vent, but also that check in with us, that when things are fine, but also when things aren't fine, that we can just collapse a little bit, go on and with life. And it gives us that safe place to be not okay.
Yeah.
And also, this was then that silent contract and getting into the expectations of, opening up dialogue with the people that you need to open up the dialogue with. And I gave the example of me and my parents, that my parents are navigating a space that they've never been in before. With doctors and nurses and home health care and hospice and all of these things, they don't understand. They don't know the questions to ask, who to call, when, for what. And so I can't read their mind for what their needs are. And it is too much for me to be constantly checking in for them. So if they have a need, they need to call me and ask the question so that I can say, here's who you call.
Yeah.
And so that was a conversation we had to have so that I'm not going insane, so that I can live my life and not feel like I'm the horrible daughter that's not involved. Because I need to live and work and go on with life, but, still feel like I'm caring and everything else. And so that was something that Tammy's light went on with her and her daughters. She feels like have some of those silent contracts where they have some expectations of Tammy, and she doesn't know what they are.
Yeah. And I got part of that. I didn't get all of it. So I did talk about silent contracts and the importance of having a conversation that no one can read anyone's mind, and that just leads to overwhelm and frustration. And then I took care of my grandfather until he passed away, and my mother-in-law, which was after my husband had committed suicide. I still had his mother in my home and took care of her till she died there as well. So fortunately, my kids, Shay was the only one that was out of the house. The rest were in high school. Fortunately, we were able to have that conversation around caring for them. And it was an entire family activity. Now, I don't think her parents lived with her, so that was different. But we did have that conversation, the kids and I, and the kids cared for her and him as much as I did. And they felt the stress and the overwhelm, and we were able to come together and say, what's the best thing we can do for us and for Pa and for Grandma, because they can do nothing for themselves, so how do we take care of that? And it made it not such a task. And we can still laugh about the things that they did. And it's been over 20 years, since they both passed away. And the kids will still say, remember when Grandma would blow her whistle and we'd have to run in there and see what she wanted? Because that's what she'd do. She had a whistle, woo, woo, and who knows what she wanted, whether she really needed anything or she just needed to see a person, And so it's a difficult thing to navigate, but without that understanding, and she may have had expectations and he may have had expectations, but they were unable to voice those expectations. So it was just what could we do? And we didn't have expectations of each other in a way that led us to, have issues around what to do and when to do and who to do it. It was just whenever the whistle blew or the bell rang, whomever was available went to see what they needed, So it brought back a lot of memories of one time in my life when I was able to negotiate those expectations in a way that supported me. And when I look back at it, even I think maybe I got more support than my grandparents did, Yeah, from the kids and from Dick when he was alive. Dick really stepped up to help with my grandpa. And he may have felt when I look back, he may have felt some unexpected, silent contracts from me, because I think in retrospect, I had a lot of those for him, and he was always guessing what I wanted, because he would hold me and say, I can't read your mind, Yeah, so it's interesting, the whole concept around expectations of ourselves and then those expectations we have of others without telling them, and they have of us without telling us. Yeah. It's an area that can cause a lot of stress, conflict, overwhelm when we engage in those silent expectations. Yeah. So it sounds like you were able to give her some really good coaching.
I learned from the best.
I'd say that was a mutual opportunity. It's a win-win for me. I learn from you all the time. So yeah, it's great relationship. So did we talk about our intentions? Kelly, I don't think it's going to get back on. So if you will close up for me, I'm going to make you host right now.
Of course.
That will really help me, and I won't have to worry about that. So you are now the host.
Okay.
And let's go get to work on our intentions.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm talking to you sometime soon, so we'll talk then.
Yep.
All righty. Bye-bye.